morning. I've been attacked by a dog. He's trying to climb up and over me. He's literally just fallen over, so I've just got to pick him up just as we're starting. But hey, welcome in to twitch.tv/Ice Cream Uploads. My name is Graham Day. This is Milo. This is Bib. I'll read Bib.
Good. Oh, it's after morning.
Good after
It's
morning.
12:20.
I mean, we have been live for 10 minutes, so we went live at 12:09, which is pretty much 12 o'clock, which is, you know, right next to 11, which is 10 a.m.-ish, perfect kind of thing. So yeah, I'll take that. We'll take that. Nice. Okay, do you want to go in your bed? Jumped and he's run away. Nice. Milo stream, exactly. We're going to get Milo to host the scoop. Anyway, welcome in to twitch.tv/Ice Cream Uploads. As mentioned, I'm Graham. This is Bib. We're Ice Cream Uploads, and this, in true ice creamy fashion, is the scoop, the UK's #1 video game podcast, if we do say so ourselves. We're going to give you, a moany dog. You want to get out? Come here. Jump in your bed. You want to do the intro? Great podcast for those. Yeah. Hey, nice. I'll let you out in a second. Let me do the intro. So yes, we're here to give you our thoughts and impressions of the biggest, the best, the breaking stories from the world of video games over the next hour or so. We are live on twitch.tv/Ice Cream Uploads, where we go live each and every single weekday at 10 a.m.
Hish.
Hurts Tim the Toolman Taylor over there. But yes, it's not just about the stream and us saying stuff. It's important that if you are in the stream, you do get involved. We are live on twitch.tv right now, but the live stream is turned into a podcast, a video on YouTube, and an audio podcast on iTunes, and Spotify, and SoundCloud, and Google Play. There's lots of places where over 165,000 people have watched and listened this podcast on demand. Furiously nice. So yeah, please do feel free to get involved on behalf of all those people. We would appreciate it if you do. But before we jump into the news, today, for the next 2 hours and 40 minutes, you have the opportunity to drop your sub on this channel. If you sub to this channel in the next 2 hours and 40 minutes, I mean, you could already be a sub, by the way. You don't have to do another one. But as long as you're sub by 3 p.m. UK time today, Milo, down. As long as you're subbed within the next 2 hours and 40 minutes, you will be included in this month's loot drop. Basically, be a sub at 3 p.m. UK time today, and you're included in the loot drop where one person will bag themselves a prize. And Mr. Bib, you've been playing a little bit of golf.
Yes, I have. Third video is live on our YouTube now, and we have broke once again the 100 viewer mark on that one. So I think collectively we're at, for the 3 videos, just short of 1,000 views across them all. So I do appreciate every single one of you that have helped us being able to put these videos out. It's by far, I think, our most, barring the ones that we was talking about, PlayStations not being able to get sold anywhere. Those for some reason had like 3,000 views on them. Each one that we said that they sold out at, I think it just got chucked into the algorithm somewhere. But actual content that we've created specifically for YouTube is by far our best videos, our best viewed videos. So I appreciate all of you that have helped us get those over the line, because it just means that we're able to do more of those going forward, and other brands are able to trust us with doing reviews for these video games.
Yeah, exactly. And that's the thing. A lot of videos will hit 1,000 views in seconds. Okay, we only have like 300 subscribers on YouTube because we're Twitch directly. So getting 1,000 views across those videos is a big play for a channel at the size of ours. So we appreciate anyone that does go check us out. Exclamation mark YouTube in the chat if you want to bring up the link for the YouTube. But speaking of YouTube and speaking, not YouTube, of golf, and speaking of loot drop, Mr. Bib, we were also having conversations about this month's loot drop.
We was, Graham. We was trying to decide last week what game or what kind of bundle that we was going to put together, because people have our hats, but a lot of people now have the hats. So it's not quite as an exclusive as it was, I don't know, 6 months ago, because we've given so many of them away for loot drops. So we were trying to think of something that we can bundle together. And I think, considering the game is out on the 14th of October, and the clubhouse, the ICU clubhouse, will once again be being opened, I think it's only fair that we let one member join the clubhouse for free this month.
So there you go. This month's loot drop prize, which will be given away at 3 p.m. today, is an ICU an ICU subathon t-shirt, because we've got a couple of spare. We'll throw one of those in. And a copy of PGA Tour for anyone that wants that, because I don't want to say we, I mean Bib will be playing a chunk of that on this channel, so we might as well let you guys get involved. Nice. Okay, before we jump into things, let me jump into the split screen first, though. Hi. How you doing? Welcome.
Hey.
Let me first of all hit replay on this.
Stay frosty, yeah?
Stay frosty, yeah? I mean, he's usually throwing subs at someone else. It's nice to see him throwing one at himself for a change. Nietzsche with his 13-month it's a REIT sub, that one. I went full Macam. No, it was a REIT, as in like REIT good. No, that's a REIT sub.
No.
So there you go. Timeless dropped in with a first. No, Nietzsche had already dropped his 13-month resub just before that. No.
Nearly.
Mike, welcome in, Doctor. How we doing? I see. When I don't see the PFF, I see the Dr. Mike and I go for Mike, which feels weird because I'm used to calling you Doctor. But welcome in, dude. How we doing? No, as well, for a doctor as well. Nice. Gagad, good after morning, gents. I've got 2 hats here, but only one of them has done the Great North Run. So next year, the other. You got to share that love around. Nice. Okay, we have a few stories. I'm going to say a few stories. I mean, a shitload of stories for you today. We'll run through what we're going to talk through. We'll try pick up the pace, but obviously if we don't get through them all, we'll shelve some that we don't go through till tomorrow, or we'll drop them off the agenda, depending on what happens in terms of breaking news over the course of today. But we'll start off with news that a Horizon Zero Dawn remaster is in the works for the PS5, it's claimed. This is written by Andy Robinson at VGC. We'll then jump into, and there's a lot of news at VGC, that we're starting out with 5 articles from VGC alone today. We then carry on with the PlayStation Love Fest. So we've got Horizon Zero Dawn coming to PS5. We've got news that the PS5 has reportedly been jailbroken. We've got more information on the PlayStation Stars stuff that we spoke about last week. We've got Vr2 Mass Production has reportedly started. And then don't worry, Xbox fans, it's fine. We'll start to include Xbox-ish news, as Activision's controversial CCO will step down ahead of the Microsoft acquisition. Then we'll talk about Ubisoft bringing players through to Stadia, and then Crystal Dynamics is asking Legacy of Kain fans if they want a reboot, a remake, or a new game entirely. So that's where we'll
remake.
Never played it.
Oh, mate, have you ever played Soul Reaver?
Nope. It's not. Just looking at them, they look like a baby game.
Soul Reaver was the one, mate. Like, I love the Legacy of Kain games, Defiance, fantastic, but the Soul Reaver games, 1 and 2, unbelievable.
So
unbelievable.
Are Soul Reaver and Legacy of Kain linked? Are they?
Yes, they are from the same world.
So the character that you see with the like shawl thing, like that's not Kain, is it, or is that Soul Reaver, or what? Like,
so I've not got the article open here.
I've not got.
But the guy that was on the front, he got like a head like Deadpool. That's Kain.
I don't actually know where that. No, I was looking at like Soul Reaver. So Soul Reaver's got.
Right, yeah, that's Raziel.
Okay, yeah.
He's got no jaw, and he devours souls.
I mean, same. Yeah, me too. By the way, Kain looks more like Ivan Ooze from the Power Rangers film to me, but we'll get to that when we get to it. For now, though, we'll start talking about Horizon Zero Dawn. Mr. Bibb, have you played Horizon Zero Dawn?
Do you know what, Graham? I genuinely haven't.
Well, shame on you, because I've played it.
Have you?
Yeah, I've played it.
How long for, Graham?
For about 60 minutes. That's actually not true. I've played it for like 2 to 3 hours twice. Once on stream and then once off stream, and I have a feeling the first 2 to 3 hours are a bit tedious. I've just seen you have a swig of Iron Brew and I want some fizzy pop. Oh,
yeah. I feel like I've needed extra taste, no sugar. Going under a little bit this morning. Probably could have done with picking something up that does have sugar in it, because we have got tangos in the fridge. However, how can you turn down an Iron Brew?
I've got root beer. Actually got root beer. One root. This is nice Bundaberg root beer. I know it's kind of like Marmite, love it or hate it.
Yeah, big hate.
I don't want to. It's one of those like pop lids, and I just don't want to do it and pop it all over my desk. I'm
wearing it.
Oh yeah, boy. Oh my god, this is amazing. Oh. For those that don't know, wonder why I'm enjoying that too much. Me and Bib we're old men now, so rather than starting the stream with all the wild and wonderful accolades we've been up to this weekend, we've both started our chats off by talking about our both broken old men. And we're not quite feeling up to scratch. So do you know when you just get that cold, sugary drink that just gives you that? Hopefully that's what that's going to do for me. Anyway, yes, Horizon Zero Dawn. I played a few hours of it. and it was decent. I probably just needed to stick at it and get past that sort of like introductory segment to really enjoy it. There was just a few other things at the same time that I was like already in playing. Pardon me. It was pre-PUBG as well, I think, or maybe it was. I don't know. It was some. Maybe it was my Master League. I don't know. Something like that interrupted it. I never went down to it. But do you know what, Bib?
Yes.
It's only a couple of years old. You know, well, it's probably like 4, 5 now. 4. But that's fine, because it's being remastered. It doesn't matter the fact that the game is only a couple of seconds old. PlayStation have decided, for the first time ever, to remaster a game that's just been released. Yay!
I've just checked the date of it, actually, as well. Did you want to hazard a guess as to how old it is?
I'm going to say 20... Is it just before or just after God of War? 2017, 18, 19... It's either 17 or 19, in my opinion. I could be wrong. 17.
Correct. 28th of February 2017 it came out, so it's
nice.
5.5 years old.
Nice. Oh, 5.5. Because it's early as well. Yeah, I actually thought it was later in the year, but there you go. There you go. I knew it was just before or just after God of War. I couldn't remember it like the year before, because it was like Horizon, God of War back to back, and then what was the year after that kind of thing? Oh, maybe that was Last of Us. No, because Last of Us was 20. Whatever, it's fine. We'll go to the article. Andy Robinson at VGC has this. Horizon Zero Dawn remaster is in the works for PS5. It's claimed. Sources claim an update of the 2017 game is in development, along with a multiplayer spin-off. Sony Interactive Entertainment is planning to release a remaster of the PS4 title Horizon Zero Dawn for PS5. That's according to a report by MP1ST. I don't know how I'm supposed to say that. Is it Mapist? I don't know. We'll keep going.
I am not.
Which VGT can corroborate via our own sources. The updated version of the 2017 Guerrilla Games title will feature improved visuals to bring it up to par with this year's sequel, Horizon Forbidden West, in the form of new character models, lighting, and animations. It is claimed, sorry, I had to mute them because I may have had a gassy burp. Nice. In addition, it's claimed the new version of Zero Dawn will add accessibility features, graphics modes, and quality of life improvements to the game itself. Do you know what? We'll leave it there. We don't really need to go too far into this. We get the headline. There is rumored to be a Horizon Zero Dawn remaster in the works for PS5. Is this a good thing, babe? Getting another game remastered? And if it is a good thing, where is the lines before it gets to a bad thing? Is having a remaster at a £10 upgrade charge for the next gen good? Is it having a £25 to £35 charge? Is that okay? Or is it still okay if it's a full-priced boxed product or digital product? What are your thoughts, Pip?
Well, I'm actually going to fire this one back to you, Graham, because I've had time to have a think about this morning. When I was pulling this article together and making the thumbnail and that. I need to know... I mean, I've got my personal opinion on this. I'm sure the guys in the chat will as well. What should be the standard practice time for a game to have some sort of update? Now, I'm not talking about a game moving from one platform to the other, having a better resolution. I'm talking remaster, remake, whichever one you want to put as a caveat in there. What are we looking at time-wise for a game to have the special treatment? Because I don't think 5.5 years is it. I feel like it needs to be. I know it was last gen. Fully aware of that. This gen has been out for nearly 2 years. Is it 2 years? Yeah, it'll be 2 years next month, won't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Was it October that it actually came out for the PS5? We'll call it 2 years. Just about 2 years.
Yeah. So we've been in this generation for 2 years. This game came out in 2017, so 5 years ago. So this had 3 full years before the PlayStation 5 came out. And then obviously we've got the Horizon Forbidden West since. What are we putting as a timestamp for games to get special treatment? Because 5.5 years doesn't seem it for me.
Yeah. If a game came out on the PS3, like The Last of Us, and then they remaster it and upscale it for big, significant jumps forward to the PS4, then I'm happy enough with that. Sorry, I got some fluff in my mouth. Nice. But like PS4 to PS5, from what I've seen so far, doesn't have anything anywhere near the same step for me. So it makes me feel like I realize it's almost hypocritical. Oh, yeah, you can jump from PS3 to PS4. That's fine, but you can't jump from PS4 to PS5. I feel like I need to see something that makes it worthwhile because I've played The Last of Us on the PS3. I've played through it on the PS4 in the HD remaster, and it was exceptional, but it was the same exceptional story. I don't feel like I was looking at going, oh, this is completely different. So I don't feel like it's necessarily needed. So Horizon Zero Dawn being remastered, obviously the Last of Us Part 1 is a remake for those. Let me jump back. So we got The Last of Us, the first initial version on the PS3. We got The Last of Us Remastered on the PS4. That's like sprucing up what already exists. And then they built it from the ground up again for the PS5, which is The Last of Us Part 1. This would be more like the second one, just polishing what's already there. But Horizon Zero Dawn is available to play on the PS5. Like, it wasn't the same.
It's still a stunning game.
Exactly. It's not like it was. It's not like the PS3 version of The Last of Us, which couldn't be played on the PS4. If I'm right, I mean I could be wrong. But for me, it didn't. It wasn't as accessible. So I had to play it through the HD remasters on my PS4. But Horizon Zero Dawn is. I'm pretty sure that's one of the PlayStation Classics collection that you get for free on PS5 anyway. So it's already in there. Does it need a remaster? Is it that visually poor? I mean, I get the fact that the game has been improved, and I get that there's better character models, and I get that there's better mechanics in terms of functions and controls, but is that really worth it 5 years later on? I'm not convinced it does. What this feels like for me is those add-on sales. Like you go to JD Sports, I'll pick up a nice pair of Jordans. Yeah, I'll take those. Do you want some extra shoelaces? Do you want some Crep Protect to keep them nice and clean? It's like, well, you wouldn't have bought the shoelaces and Crep Protect. You've like, I've got shoes already, but I didn't really need any Crep Protect or whatever. Fine, but because you're in there picking up some new Jordans, you go, okay, go on, I'll buy that as well. That feels like what this is. It's like, okay, we've just made Forbidden West. Should we add on an extra couple of sales with Horizon Zero Dawn Remaster? I feel like without the Forbidden West, the remaster just isn't substantial enough for me. So if it's not substantial enough without something else, does it really need to be there? It's not a bad thing for anyone that's wondered if we're seeing this as a mega negative. Massive Horizon fans are gonna love this, just like the massive Last of Us fans are gonna love the remake and remaster of that. And I'm a huge fan of The Last of Us, one of the best games ever. But like it's not always about the diehard fans. It's not always about, we're making this great game because it'll be great for the diehard fans. They'll absolutely love seeing it and playing it and stuff. But you're also going to be making money off the top, and that's where it comes into it for me. So Horizon Zero Dawn Remaster, that's a lot of resources that are being put into just tarting something up that already exists. That's a safe bet to take extra cash off people, rather than me using the word safe. A new Horizon game would probably make a chunk of money. But with every new release, you always have the potential of damaging your brand. That's something that you always have to be aware of. That sequels, you have a surefire way of getting into an established audience, but you always have the worry of ruining that relationship with that audience. And sequels also have the potential of being diminishing returns. If you make a sequel to a game that has a legacy, and then another sequel to a game that has a legacy, unless that game is picked up by everyone, people will drop off eventually because it'll be like, there's too much for me to catch up on. I don't know what it is. Can't really be asked. So rather than going for that, they've just gone, okay, well, we'll just take a few extra quid off of the Horizon Zero Dawn by just doing the same thing again and making it nicer. So I'd rather them looking at a full DLC campaign for Forbidden West, or starting Forbidden East or whatever. Let's get working on that. So for me, I don't feel it's justified right now. Why would people? Because it's not going to be free. It's never going to be free. Why?
Well, that was the next question that I was going to ask you. I mean, it's something that you asked me originally. What's the price point for this? Using Skyrim as an example, because why wouldn't I? The PlayStation 4 version of Skyrim, the special edition, which I picked up for £5 on eBay, still in its cellophane wrapper, fantastic, because I knew the anniversary collection was going to cost me £17 to get that PlayStation 5 version, the best version that's currently out there. It's coming out on Switch as well, if it's not already out. So you can have that version too. But the PlayStation 5 version, anniversary edition, available for Skyrim, £17. No problems in paying that. It's one of my favorite games of all time. It's a game that I have on pretty much every single platform that's ever come out for. That's a perfect price point for me. I mean, it was anyway because I picked it up for £5. But even if I'd paid £30 for the Skyrim Special Edition way back when on the PlayStation 4, I think £17 would have been fair because it's got all the DLC in there. It's got all the PlayStation 5 retextured stuff. It looks fantastic, plays fantastic, 60 frames a second. Thank you very much. That's worth the money. They're going to come in at £50 for this, aren't they? Minimum.
Well, they're going to try. 100%. I wouldn't be surprised if we did get a 45-ish sort of price tag in there, because that's probably as low as they can go whilst keeping it in the high area, but still not looking quite there. But that said, I wouldn't be surprised if we get a $69.99 package where the package is, you'll get Horizon Zero Dawn Remaster, plus you'll also get I don't know, maybe Forbidden West thrown in or something like that. I don't think that'll be. I don't think that's quite true. The reason I was saying that is because thinking of Spider-Man Miles Morales, we got Spider-Man, which was amazing. Amazing Spider-Man, nice. But we then got that remastered and given away free as part of the Miles Morales bundle kind of thing.
Yeah,
it wouldn't surprise me if we got something like, I don't know, maybe they did a special edition of Forbidden West or something, and this was thrown in as the freebie there, which means that there's still a price gate, a price wall, whatever the phrase is. I've completely brain farted on it, but whatever the phrase is, there is still a barrier for entry in terms of you have to buy the 70 quid game to get DLC packages for Forbidden West and this thrown in or something like that. I wouldn't be surprised, but
well, I do feel like there is definitely a difference between what The Last of Us have just done and what they've just done with this. I feel like The Last of Us is taking what Resident Evil did and taken the second and third game and remade them purely based off of how long ago it was that The Last of Us came out on the PlayStation 3. Like that game now, they've obviously remade it for your PlayStation 5. They've changed the control scheme to make it more modern, obviously because with the way that we play games now is different from what we played them 10 years ago. Very much like they changed tank controls to over the shoulder in Resident Evil, and then games have obviously taken off with that. So they've modernized the way that The Last of Us is, but the Horizon Zero Dawn is a very modern game. I don't think they're going to be able to change the control scheme. Obviously, Grand Theft Auto, the Definitive Edition, the Definitive Trilogy, whatever that one was called, where they'd updated the game to play like a modern game now, because why would anyone want to run around with just the left analog stick and not being able to move around properly with your right analog stick? That just doesn't exist anymore.
Yeah.
We've modernized the way that we play video games. So they've changed that. They've upscaled everything. They've managed to remake all the textures. Plays beautifully on your PlayStation 5. That, because it's so long ago, feels like it did need those tweaks to make it more modern, which is exactly what we've got with The Last of Us Part 1 remaster. Sorry, remake. I don't feel like this is that long ago where you can actually change much. I feel like it visibly, it'll probably just add a little bit of ray tracing and make the world a bit more colourful.
Yeah.
Because I mean, we still had HDR on a PlayStation 4, so I don't know what.
Just give you the spiel. It says it will feature improved visuals to bring it up to par with this year's sequel, Horizon Forbidden West, in the form of new character models, lighting, and animations. That's still, whilst that will have a big impact visually, potentially, or could have a big impact visually, if you put ray tracing and the like in that, it still doesn't really justify changing. For me, like this article mentions, PlayStation has a trend of re-releasing for the new platform, including Spider-Man, Ghost of Tsushima, Uncharted 4, The Last of Us, and Horizon Forbidden West. That's 5 mega titles that they've brought over, which you can understand. But part of me now is thinking, okay, I get it early on. You plug in the gaps. You've got games that are being made that will take a chunk of time before we get to the point where they can be dropped in on the system. So we got Ratchet and Clank, okay, but then we still don't really have many other PlayStation big titles coming yet. So okay, we'll plug in the gaps. Now part of me feels like, okay, we've still got some gaps to plug, so we might as well just get a Horizon in there as well. Also, we made a shitload of money on each of those, so it feels like it's we don't. I mean, we've changed the strategy from plugging the gaps to okay, we'll just keep earning the cash because I mean the gap is what it is now. If we can get another Horizon coming in, then we'll get the well, do you know what? We'll get a Forbidden West update because I mean that's been out 6 minutes now, so that's going to need an update as well. Dude, we can update the update. Let's remake it, not just remaster it. And I'm not against anyone that wants to play updates. Be them remasters, remakes. I just feel like 5 years, we're already starting to see a precedent. We had The Last of Us released 3 times in 10 years. I don't want to see Horizon Forbidden West released 3 times in 10 years. And that's where you get to the old arguments of video games aren't as creative as they used to be anymore. And the same with films and like that. That's where you'll see people go, yeah, but it's just another Marvel film, just another blah, blah, blah. But at least Marvel films are still different stories. You're not going back to watch Thor in IMAX, and then you watch it in IMAX Plus, and then IMAX with better audio or something. You are getting Thor, then you are getting The Dark World, and then you are getting Ragnarok, and you are getting Love and Thunder. You can still the stories are still progressing. We're just playing Horizon Forbidden West that looks a bit prettier, and it looks a bit prettier again.
See, what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to avoid the double standard stuff because I know that's something very easy now that people are going to start throwing out. Was like, well, you was absolutely fine with The Last of Us, you was absolutely fine with Resident Evil, you was absolutely fine with Skyrim and all these games that were having these remakes, remasters. I am trying to avoid the double standard here, and I'm trying to be impartial as possible with it. I just don't think that this is warranted just yet, considering it was a game that came out not necessarily towards the end of a PlayStation 4 life cycle, but definitely one where it's one of the most pretty games that's on the console. I don't feel like that is gonna tangle anybody's panties. Do you know what I mean? Like it's not gonna have people up in arms about that kind of statement. But 5.5 years in video game terms, it does seem like quite a lot. But for a game that was as good, as modern, and as pretty as it still is now, you can buy that game from any shop. You can download it off the PlayStation Marketplace without needing a remaster or remake and going, Jesus Christ, this looks beautiful still.
Yeah,
I don't think it requires. It's not going to leave you going, Jesus Christ, what is this controls? I can't play this. This isn't. It's all very modern. I don't think it needs it just yet. Maybe in a couple of years' time, when a new mechanic comes into a video game, people go, Jesus, this is now the way that we should play video games. This is the bar. This is the stock way of being able to play video games. Maybe.
Just to add
I just can't. Yeah.
your point about people going, yeah, but you said this and that and the other. We actually, I mean, things like Skyrim, that has live service sort of vibes to it, right? Does it? Does it? Or am I wrong? No. Okay. Well, in that case, then Bibby's definitely wrong. Yeah, fuck that guy. But that's
it's a very old game. It was a PlayStation 3 game.
Exactly.
It was PlayStation 3, Xbox 360 game. A very long time ago.
So that okay, just from being around, there's an active audience. There isn't thany sequels that they're pushing the envelope. Has there been a sequel to Skyrim?
Not yet. So, we've been waiting since 2011.
So there we go. 11.
The Elder Scrolls Online. That's it.
11 years, you've not got a sequel to Skyrim, whereas in 5 years, we've already got a sequel to Horizon Forbidden West, and we've already got a sequel to The Last of Us. Also, on that point, we also did call out The Last of Us Part 1. Whilst we probably will still play it, we also said it's not a bad thing. It's just not a bad thing if you think there's value in it. For me, playing through this game and this spending again on this game doesn't have value for me. The other thing to point out as well is Talk Shows Unmuted did get back to our point. It says it's not in the PlayStation Classics collection. It was given away as part of the stay-at-home promo when COVID hit, or it was a monthly, or was it a monthly PSN free game? It could have been both, to be fair. Some games they have had on both before. But that's the thing as well, because they can't realistically ever generate sales on Horizon Zero Dawn. Yeah. But if you put a slightly better version out, then you can resell that one again. So you do also unlock that element too. Okay, let me jump back up a few. Doctor says, walking the Chihuahua and watching the best. You know you are, goddamn right.
Yay.
Hi, Chihuahua. Off out for a coffee with the missus, dropping a lurk, gents. Have fun. I'll catch the VOD when I return. Enjoy the brew. Timeless. Get
Timeless.
Flat white for me. Cheers. Nice. March 2017. Itani, good morning. Says I played Horizon for like 4 to 5 hours. Got bored, breath. Same. I mean, I think we probably did the same thing. I've heard from numerous different sources that it gets a lot better. There was some old lady asking me to do monotonous tasks, and I was trying to figure out how to like lasso fucking robot dinosaurs, which sounds cool. Lasso robot dinosaurs, but you've got basically Horizon Zero Dawn's equivalent of, can you go to a shop and get me some eggs, please, love? And I was just like, I want to fucking figure out how to do the dinosaur bit first. Gah. So I was just like distracted and not really feeling it. So just put it down to play something else and then just didn't go back to it kind of thing. Right, really, I'm away now. Have fun. In a bit, timeless. If you can play it on the current platform, shouldn't be remade. I agree with that. That's the similar sort of sentiment as Skyrim was an Xbox 360 PS3 game. There's reasons. There's just time passing is relevant enough for remakes, let alone technological advancements as well as that time passing. And we haven't really had the technological advancements or the time passing that justifies the need for this remake strategy. If people have spent generations on the Xbox and want a PS5 and want to play them on all their glory, it makes sense for them. But yeah, not for me. If the price point is fine and people are enjoying paying it, then you do you. That's fine. It's not really what I'm wanting. I want something big and bombastic from PlayStation. That said, Guerrilla will probably still be supporting Forbidden West for a while, so maybe it is a good use of their time for them to just sunset one game whilst bringing a little bit of light to the other at the same time. Maybe that is a good resource juggling. I don't know. Whatever it is, it works for PlayStation. They're on the 5th remake, so fair play. To be honest, the game is mid. Don't know why it's getting a remaster. Oh, you could just say that. Keep on with the remasters. You'll end up giving George Lucas a Star Wars a run for the money. Exactly. It's like Breaking Bad. People telling me it gets a lot better, but I ain't torturing myself until it gets better. Do you know what? I agree with that one. Although I will say, I know Bib like puts Breaking Bad up there with like the best TV he's ever seen. Maybe because I'd seen a lot of people telling me it was the best TV that I'd ever see, I ever watch ever. Just didn't mean it quite. It was good. It was good. I watched it all the way through. But it's not in my top 3, top 5, maybe, possibly not even in my top 10. Maybe I'd have to think about that. I don't know what my top 10 is. I've not gone that far down. But it's no Sopranos. It's no The Wire, mate.
I've not seen either of those two, so I can't comment.
Yeah, my first question was, why already now? Exactly, Lake. Exactly. Does it need to be now? We can still play it on the PS5. It's still accessible. You get games like Fortnite, which is go, okay, well, play the PS5 version. Ta-da! I know that's live service. It's a different conversation altogether. But is that... Do we not just need a PS5 version rather than a full remaster? Can we not just pay 10 quid to get the PS5 edition instead, rather than making it this remaster song and dance? And yeah, that's where I am. Anyway, speaking of PS5, we'll use that as a dropping off point. We'll jump back in with the next story. Chris Scullion, this time at VGC, says the PS5 has reportedly been jailbroken. A limited but seemingly legitimate exploit has been discovered. So a limited but working jailbreak for the PS5 hardware has reportedly been released, potentially enabling players to install unsigned or unofficial software. The news was reported on Twitter by modder Lance McDonald, who previously made a name for himself by releasing an unofficial patch that made Bloodborne run at 60 FPS on PS4. Although McDonald doesn't appear to have discovered the PS5 jailbreak himself, he does show footage of it in action, as well as showing that the jailbreak gives him access to a debug menu. He shows that it enables him to install a PS4 PKG file, i.e. a backup of a game, proving this by installing the now delisted PT demo. At this stage, the jailbreak is allegedly extremely limited. It's said to only work on PS5 consoles with version firmware 4.03, which was released in October 2021 and replaced with 4.5 in December 2021. According to the exploit's creator, it may be possible to apply the jailbreak to PS5 consoles with earlier firmware versions than 4.03, but later firmware versions won't work at the moment. Even if a player does have a console with the 4.03 firmware, the exploits creator warns that it will still only work around 30% of the time, usually requiring multiple attempts to execute. Just going to hit play on this in the article. So even once the player does this, they'll be strictly limited in what they can do at this stage, it's claimed. While the exploit is said to give read-write access, it doesn't give execute access. This means that although McDonald was allegedly able to install the PTTs on his PS5, he won't actually be able to run it yet. Great! Given the limitations of the alleged exploit, and the fact that it only works on a specific year-old firmware version, it will currently likely only be of use to other hackers curious to see how it works and whether they can use it as a starting point for something more effective. It will nevertheless be a concern for Sony to see some progress being made, albeit minor, on attempts to bypass the PS5's security. So, yeah, that's the key thing. That's the key thing. Very small thing. Very... take it with a pinch. Okay, someone's hacked a console that, if you've had your console plugged in, it would have been updated 5 times, 6 times, 10 times since then. So, okay, your console's already past the point of this being relevant. Most people's consoles are past the point of this being relevant. And even if you did manage to go out your way to brute force the exploits in and get the games onto the console, you still can't play them. But it's the connotations that come from that. If there is weaknesses, even from a year-old system, that could be significant for hackers looking to expose and jailbreak the PS5 on a much larger scale. Interesting. Thoughts, Pip?
Yeah, they can just reverse engineer it. They'll be able to look at where the end destination is and how they get there. And then when something becomes available to them, they go, okay, if I had this here, then I'll be able to execute this, and then we can move this, and then this will be able to happen. So it's good for the people who are hacking it, but bear in mind that a lot of these consoles, if you end up going online with it being hacked, it'll only be a matter of time before you end up getting a bricked console or something like that. So do bear that in mind. But if you are going to be playing burnt copies of whatever game it is, then you're probably not going to be turning it on live anyway. But don't tell people that you're doing that, because they will probably have your door kicked in and you'll be getting sent to court or whatever. But yeah, it's the hacking community or the modding community, for a lot of purposes, do a very good job of us being able to play some of our games to its absolute fullest. Like Pro Evo, for instance, the amount of mods that you can do with that are insane. And without having things in the background that run for us to be able to have new stadiums and stuff being put in there, it's fantastic. We're able to use that kind of stuff. But there's a lot of instances where playing burnt games, I think that's a bit step too far.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, this article is written by Chris Scullion. I've just gone to, like, his tweet is super simple, but it puts it in context. Very early stages here, but it begins. And that's the thing, is this doesn't have major significance right now, but it could be. This could be the start of something. And like Itani says, hacked consoles were good back in the PS2 days, but since going online, it's been dead. Pretty much. You were running the risk of, you get your PS2 hacked, nice. Get your PS3 hacked, nice. Go online and you get it bricked. Fuck. Okay, same thing with the PS4. Kind of, there's not much you can do with a hacked console, especially if you like multiplayer. If you stick into single player experiences, in the majority of cases, that's all you kind of refine to. And even then, there's a lot of loopholes. There's a lot of things that you have to sacrifice to get in and enjoy that sort of experience. But it's interesting to see that it's still pretty early in the PS5's life cycle, and they're already starting to find weaknesses in the armor. So hopefully, from a PlayStation standpoint, it's not something that can be mega exploited, and hopefully from a user perspective, it's not something that can be mega exploited. But yeah, interesting. Hacked. Oh, no, I've done that one. In other words, the hackers are saying if it bleeds, we can hack it. Exactly. Okay. Do you know what you can't hack? The PSVR, because it's not out yet, but they have started building it. So the Psvr2 Mass Production has reportedly started with 2 million units planned for launch. It took 8 months for the first PSVR to reach 1 million sales. So Sony plans to release 2 million PSVR2 headsets during the new headset's launch period, it's been claimed. And Bloomberg reports that the manufacturer plans to have 2 million units by March 2023, suggesting it expects PSVR to sell faster than its predecessor. By comparison, the original PSVR, which was released in October 2016, took 7 months to sell 1 million units. Although VR2 has yet to receive an official release date, Sony said it will launch early 2023. According to Bloomberg sources, mass production of PSVR2 headsets started last month and has reportedly not yet been affected by supply chain constraints. Which, you know what, we'll stop just there. We need to keep the pace going up. So PSVR2 mass production started. They've got 2 million units inbound.
Mm-hmm.
It took 7 months for a console that released in October, just pre-Christmas, to sell 1 million units. They're expecting 2 million units for launch in March sort of time. Do you think they're going to shift that? Will the PSVR have had enough of an install base? Will the news that we covered the other week about PSVRs not being backwards compatible, so the PSVR 2 won't be able to play PSVR games, will that be a hindrance? What are your thoughts, babe?
Yeah, it all comes down to the games, in my opinion. What if they're not? What are they launching with? Because if this console is 550 quid or whatever, it's we're probably looking at between 400 and 600 quid. I think for when this drops. I don't actually think we've got a proper price for it yet. But if the games aren't up to stand, like what we're going to be playing, I mean, Gran Turismo surely should be a given on it. But what else is there?
Psvr.
They're going to yeah, Skyrim Vr2. What we're going to be getting from it. So if you are paying 550 quid, what you paying for?
You're getting,
and considering, yeah,
sorry, I was just jumping in and say you're getting at the moment what Itan is saying, gimmicks. VR is too gimmicky for me. I don't believe VR is gimmicky. I believe the way that we are getting it is gimmicky, which is probably what you're getting at there in terms of you sit in a proper VR rig, be it a racing rig, be it one of those like movement setups that you'd often see at like events and stuff, which are mega expensive. That's why nobody ever owns one. That's why you only ever see them at events and stuff like that. VR has the potential to be amazing. But at the moment, what we do get is the gimmicks. So like Baby says, and that comes down to the games and how we play them. Sorry, back over to you, Babe.
yeah. It's like, but at what cost? Like, what are we getting from it? Are we going to be getting stuff that you would have? I mean, we bring this up every time we see some VR stuff, but you know, like the ones where you had it was cardboard and you slide your phone in and you ride in a roller coaster.
Google
Like, is that the
Cardboard.
kind of thing that we're going to? Yeah, is that the kind of thing that we're going to be getting off the bat? I don't believe it is. It's me just saying a very extreme statement there. I'm fairly certain they're going to be coming out with some. I mean, they're mentioning that Resident Evil Village is going to have VR support as well, which is great. They're the kind of games that you want to have VR support because Resident Evil Biohazard 7 was unbelievable in VR. It made me shit my pants. So what else are we going to be getting from it? They haven't really given us that much information on it. But this definitely will fly off shelves, but I don't think 2 million out the gate is realistic considering the install base that's out there at the moment.
Yeah, I mean, it took 7 months for the PSVR to sell 1 million, and that was with the big, like, VR's new. It was just off the back of that 3D. Go watch Toy Story in 3D at the cinema. It's great. It's amazing, and you get a headache, and you give it up, and next time you come back, you're not going to spend another quid on those shit glasses because you're just watching your normal definition. But let's go. And PSVR it came out at that sort of point in time. It was at every event that you could see going. PSVR 2 is going to come out after Christmas. That came out October 16th, the perfect time for Christmas, at a key point in the generation as well. Like the PlayStation 4 had been out for what, 3 or 4 years at that point. So anyone that wanted one had one. And then could spend another 200, 300, 400 quid on a VR setup. Whereas a lot of people still haven't got PS5s right now. So they're struggling to buy a PS5 right now. There's 500 quid. And then to buy a PSVR, which we've already seen costs for hardware going up. And this hasn't been priced yet. This could be another 500, 600, 700 quid. Because the technology is a lot more expensive and a lot more advanced than it was previously. So I feel it's wishful thinking. I hope it's successful. I do wish for a world where VR is easy to get, easy to jump into, and easy to play, and you get great experiences within it. But it's all going to cost. To get the Ready Player One experience, obviously, we're talking haptic suits and games giving physical feedback to you and so on. We're not at a world where PlayStation's going to create a full body condom for you to climb into and fucking feel all the bullet shots from whatever yet. But if it's going to cost $1,000 for the headset, the suits aren't just condoms. The condoms that have all these receptors and sensors and stuff to make you feel the shots, be it a physical nudge, like something that fires, or be it like a little shock even. I mean, probably, safety concerns with that. But even still, that's going to be thousands again to get that. And then if you've got movement treadmills and stuff, thousands for that. And so VR is a long, expensive way from being Ready Player One. But it could be good much quicker than that. If it was just a case of headset on, movement is fully picked up in a way that your hand movements, be that finger movements, be that full arm gestures, whatever, is replicated in the game in a way that you can do pretty quickly and easily. But then once you're in it, for me, being believable, and that's the thing. We live in an 8K society and beyond. So going to jump in to play a Master System game, I'm like, okay, this is fuck. Why is the world ugly as fuck? Because the textures aren't as good, and the draw distance is pretty bad, and so on. And that's the problem solving that VR needs for me. So it doesn't just become a gimmick of, oh look, you can walk around and see your fingers. Oh great, I've done that already. Now we've done that on the PSVR for 5 years now, mate. What are we actually going to do that's going to be decent? I can jump in, I can see my fingers, and yep, I get it. At every cutscene, I'm going to be reaching out and prodding the person in the face because he stood there, because I can do this in VR, and I couldn't do this in cutscenes previously, but I can do it now, so I'm going to keep prodding away. Yeah, he's not even noticed. I've got my finger in his nose. Yeah, because that's what I do in VR. Like, playing the London heist thing, there's a bit where you're driving down the road and you're just sticking your finger in some dude's ear next to you, like, because that's what VR is, and because that's the main thing that there is to it, is the gimmick. Get past that, normalize the gimmick, and give me the content. That's what we need. So
I'm just having a look at the release dates for the games that came out for PlayStation VR. There's quite a few launch-ish games, but Batman VR came out in 2016. It was October 2016. Then Drive Club VR was October 2016 as well. So there's a couple of good games. Obviously, Rise of the Tomb Raider.
Arizona Sunshine, what was that? What it was called?
That was yeah, but that wasn't at launch. I'm trying to try Until Dawn. That was a decent enough game. There's a lot of gimmicky shit here, like carnival games and sports VR and Headmaster, that football game where you literally just head the ball into the net. Like,
it's just all gimmick at that point. Like,
yeah, of course. NBA 2K VR experience was November towards Christmas time. Like, out the gate, there wasn't the best. Like, Biohazard Resident Evil 7 came out on the 24th of January 2017. So that was like 7 months after launch, which I do think that was probably one of the biggest selling points. Yeah. And I mean, I'm saying that as a Resident Evil fan, but genuinely, that was probably the first time that I played PSVR and I thought, shit, we are in for something here. This now needs to be the foundation of what we're going to be getting VR for, because it was the best game that was out on it by an absolute landslide. It actually made you feel fully immersed in what VR should be, rather than it being a gimmick shit.
Yeah. See, I've got little PSVR experience. Like I said, the thing I spent most time in was London Heist. And I've tinkered it with The Office. I've played a few bits here and there, and so on. But it was always built around the gimmicks. Like, even playing London Heist, I've told stories about it before. You sat there in the cutscenes, and you're being made to experience a cutscene that you would normally be forced to sit and watch in a video game. Okay, well, that's great. But now I'm an active participant in this conversation. So I'm sat here moving my head around. You've got a cigar on the table in front of you and a clipper lighter kind of thing. I'm freaking dicking around with this cigar, clipper lighter on, seeing if I can throw the lighter from one end to the other and stuff like that. Not listening to this dude, and that's because they didn't understand VR enough to go, okay, well, you're in this cutscene. Let's give them things to do. It's like, no, you want them to listen to the story. Get them to do stuff that moves the story forward rather than just dicking around with a cigar. Then when you get into the shootout, that's when it's good, because I found myself in this jewelry store behind like a desk that had all these drawers and stuff in. And don't question the logic. For some reason, this jewelry store had magazines with bullets and stuff inside the drawers. Bullets that just happened to fit my gun as the burglar guy that's there. Nice, great, whatever. So you're in the shootout. You're standing up, going bang, 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 dropping back down again, getting into cover, opening these drawers, finding magazines and reloading your gun, and then standing back up again. And it was fucking amazing. Didn't make sense, but it was amazing being in it, kind of thing. And that's where it's like, okay, you've gone past the gimmick of VR now. You're using the functions available to you. Yeah. That's great. Okay, now give me functions that make sense in a longer form, or even something, even if it's only a short game but looks fantastic. I'd say that, please. The thing there though is short games that look fantastic cost money, and because they're only short games, they don't often get their money back, and that's the problem with it. Then is someone needs to find, like, BR is probably the greatest example of how you can build on VR BR in VR. It's short games that just replay over and over and over again. That's what VR needs. It needs that replayability, but it needs a really solid game that allows people to come back and play it over and over again. But because it's only a short game, they can make it look fantastic and stunning rather than having to build out a full 20-hour campaign of a story, because the VR, it'll be a 700 gig install, and yeah, I mean, I'd never get to play that on my internet.
Well, I mean, even with that, it's very difficult to try and create stuff specifically for VR for you to be able to keep your headset on for that long.
Yeah.
Like, I understand that they're going to be making games that maybe last half an hour, 40 minutes, where you can probably get away with having your headset on for that long. But you're 100%, like, your brain just, it's not wired to have your headset on for that long. Like, you just lose, I don't want to say consciousness, because you're not going to fall onto the floor and fucking be unconscious.
You might do.
Yeah, if you run into something. But in terms of like the way that your brain is wired, like if you put a headset on and you are walking a plank with in between two buildings, your brain is wired to think, I'm walking across a plank here, and if I fall to the left or right, I'm gonna fall through the floor. Like there's a fantastic video of Ronnie O'Sullivan playing snooker where he thinks that he's around an actual snooker table, goes to take a shot and lean on the table, and instead just falls flying forward because his brain. Have you not seen it?
No.
Oh mate, I'll send it you in a bit. It's fantastic because his brain's wired to think there's a snooker table in front of me here, and I'm going to lean on it, and he puts his leg up, but he falls forward. Like your brain sees one thing and it thinks, I'm in this. So
there was one I saw a few weeks ago, some dude jumping forward and just clatters into a TV or a wall or something. Smash. Oh, that's amazing.
I'm gonna drop it in the chat for it. It's only like 17 seconds long. It's not a long one, but for you guys that are in the chat, feel free to watch this because it is incredible.
I'm gonna watch it, but muted.
It's got no.
Now you're holding the cue.
Oh, yeah.
Go on then. Let's put it.
It's got no copy. It's got no copyright in there.
Nice. So this is Ronnie O'Sullivan.
Now you're holding the cue.
Wow. What are you going for? The 6?
Oh, right. Jesus.
That is Did you try and lean on a table?
Yeah.
Did you try leaning on the table?
So you like your brain's wired to think, oh, that whatever I'm seeing is real life. It's not. It's the game. So obviously keeping your headset on for that long will skew your brain a little bit. But yeah, there's more than enough games that I'm loving to look through this list. Like Wolfenstein in VR would be amazing. No Man's Sky in VR would be amazing. LA Noire, that I haven't played that in VR, but I imagine that's pretty good too. Obviously, you've had the things like Skyrim, you've had things like Tomb Raider, like Everybody's Golf VR, that'll be amazing. The Golf Club did a VR game on the Oculus Quest, that looks amazing. Like, so they have got a good track record of creating good games.
I was actually thinking about VR the other day, but from a spectator sort of point of view. I can't remember who I was watching. Some content creator was talking about like esports. It's probably someone in the PUBG world because I've been watching some PUBG esports stuff, and talking about how good it'll be when esports like spectating advances and potentially uses VR.
Yeah.
And I was thinking, like, there's strengths and weaknesses in that, because the way that the conversation was kind of going was towards, imagine if you could just jump into the game, like as a ghost, not being seen, like completely invisible, no audio, no impacts on the game. You could just run around in a game. Like, it's obviously on a delay of some kind, so you can't influence it. But I can run around and see Bibby crouched behind this vehicle with his 2X M16 DBS in the pocket, ready to go. Let's go. And then I could run around the other way. And I'm thinking, well, that kind of loses a little bit of the appeal then, because I'm not watching the same game as everyone else. Then I'm watching it from a different angle. It's the same game, but different angle means it's a different game, if you're not talking about from a broadcasting perspective. So then I was thinking, what if you could get fucking like almost like Jurassic Park level ride? You all are sat in these seats, like 20 along or something, and then the broadcasting team's driving you around and taking you in, and you're driving right up close to this fucking. Thinking, that'd be amazing.
That would.
That's where you need the VR sort of stuff. Like you can choose to just watch it as the broadcast, but if you want to get in with your VR headset, you can go in and out. I was like, that'd be amazing. That'd be amazing.
Yeah, well, gone are the days of Fruit Ninja and stuff like that. We don't need any of that kind of stuff now. That's the stuff. You might as well just throw in paper toss and stuff like that as well while you're at it. Like those are the days
Do
are
you mean
well
tossing
gone.
paper toss?
Yes, absolutely.
Nice.
Yeah, those days are gone. We need bigger and better experiences. It's like you won't go back and play most PS1, PS2, or PS3 games because you want something new, and I appreciate that. But you want a big shiny new product because you want the new and best experiences. We don't need to keep on having these gimmicky stuff that you can slide your mobile phone into a cardboard headset and then crack on with that. I'm ready now to be immersed fully. Again, the same story that I keep on telling because it's genuinely the best experience that I've had in VR was at Arcade Club with the racing cockpit and the forced feedback on the steering wheel and on the foot pedals and on the gear stick with the headset on. Like that was the best experience that I've ever had in VR, and that's the kind of stuff that I want going forward. I want to be immersed. That's what VR should be.
Pro Clubs VR. Let's go.
Can you imagine?
No, because suddenly you realise that you have to actually be good at football and have proper vision and stuff like that. Like I'll be looking
you've
at
seen that in buckets yesterday. I mean, centre midfield. Do you know what I mean?
But like fucking knowing that it's like you turn your head round, that's it. You're missing the entire game. It's fuck. Oh shit! Turn me back. Oh fuck. So yeah. Anyway, we'll put a pin in that. But that's a whole different conversation that we could be having. So Vr2 Mass Production has started. 2 million units are planned for launch next year. If you want to fill your boots, we've got one more PlayStation story, which I'm going to quickly throw up now. Ooh, which is funny choice of words because after reading it, I'm quickly going to throw up as well. Nice. PlayStation stars might have a hidden invite-only diamond tier. This is written by Jordan Middler at VGC. It says reference to the fifth tier was seemingly found in the PlayStation app. So a hidden fifth tier of PlayStation Stars membership has reportedly been found in the PlayStation mobile app. The tier, which is allegedly called Diamond, according to Datamined Info, is reportedly invite-only, according to text allegedly found within the app. Several images referring to Diamond tier rewards have also been found, which are hosted on the PlayStation website, as well as a description of the tier. In an endless sea of stars, it seems like there's nowhere to hide, but you wouldn't be here if you let challenges like that stop you. Welcome to level 5, is the quote. Considering both of these images are hosted on PlayStation's official website, they're certainly real, but whether or not they'll actually be used is yet to be seen. We'll stop there for a second. Not a fan of this. I mean, it could mean anything. It could be something. It could be the way that PlayStation works with content creators or anything like that, like Epic partners and stuff like that. It could be that for all we know. But all I've seen so far from PlayStation Stars is we're going to give you stuff that's definitely not NFTs. Absolutely not NFTs. We're also going to give you, the rich, access to customer service and support much quicker and faster and better than the poor. And now also we have a special tier that we can invite our friends to. It just sounds a little bit Tory party. I mean, don't want to bring politics into it because some people watching this may be conservative. That's fine. Just not a fan of this in gaming. Why? If you've got a problem with something that you've paid good money for, you should be able to access support at the same pace that anyone else has, not just because they've invested more into the general ecosystem. You've still got a problem that needs fixing. That tied to now a secretive hidden fifth tier. Like, the tiering is already bad enough because it doesn't reward you for amount of time played, like compared to what we've seen previously. The amount of money you spend on full price games, I mean, that as a caveat in itself is tragic. Full price games, not even the fact that you've spent shitloads of money on games. You've bought them at the full price, so you've maximized our profit potential. You are a better customer than someone that's bought 6 games, either from Game or Amazon or in the sales. You buy one full price game, you're a better customer. It's shithousing. So that tied to an invitation only. Nobody knows what it's for. Hidden fifth tier. Last generation, I wouldn't have had a problem with it. With PlayStation's for the players mantra, it was nice, and now it's for the payers, is what it seems like. So, just made that on the fly there.
Nice. That's brilliant. I love that.
Pretty proud. So yeah, not a fan. Thoughts, babe?
Yeah, same. I mean, again, it goes back to the conversation that we had last week. Like, I genuinely I might know one person that's asked for a refund over via PlayStation and managed to get through to it through customer support. But having a specific tier for customer support just baffles me. Like, surely there isn't that many people that need customer support that they need to have an exclusive VIP black card. Who's going to support every single week to have that kind of thing? Like, if you're paying for loads of games for your console and you've got the digital only console, that's fine, but you shouldn't really be rewarding the people who are spending. I mean, is that having a loyalty scheme? That's pretty much everywhere, right?
Yeah.
So everywhere that you are spending money, you get more points, and therefore you might become a more valuable customer. Sky does it. Sky is a VIP club. The longer you've been with them. Yeah, Starbucks.
Every brew you get, it's actually called stars as well. Every brew you buy, you get stars back, and when you've got enough stars, you can get yourself a free coffee for it. That's fine, because that's like Sky going and Starbucks going, hey, you've got enough stars to get some quality extras back. Nice. PlayStation going, hey, you've got enough stars to get minimal service. Let's go.
Yeah, like at Starbucks, just because you spend 30 coffees doesn't mean that you have to go to the part-time teenager who only works weekends to earn a bit of pocket money. You're not having to just deal with them. Like, if something's wrong with your coffee, you speak to whoever it is that's behind the till, and they'll go, okay, the manager's down there. They've been there forever. They know the customer. They know everything inside out. They'll go over there and speak to them, but you haven't had to pay for that service. That happens if you, Graham, the Starbucks guy, that has a stupid amount of rewards on your card, and me, who is definitely a Costa customer, but if there's a Starbucks nearby, I'm going to grab one of those. That we're not going to get a different outcome on what's going to happen if we've both got a dodgy coffee. It doesn't work like that. It's just you're treating your customers all equally.
There's weird floating stuff in it. Yeah, we didn't have milk. You said flat white. Let me rest assured, it is white.
Yeah, flat shite.
And there's no bubbles in it. So it's pretty flat. Enjoy.
Ouch.
He's like, no, thank you.
Yeah.
Fun story on that, actually. Talking about quality of stuff. I went to my local Tesco, nice, which had a Costa inside it, nice. And it was the first week of they'd put the Costa inside it, but they'd clearly just retrained some of the Tesco staff to be baristas. So they knew how to froth the milk and make the coffees and so on. I went in and I was like, can I get 2 flat whites or a flat white or whatever it was, please? And she was like, flat? I was like, yeah, flat white, please. So she was like, oh, okay. Just give me a piece of bread. She thought it was about toast. Genuine.
I thought you was winding me up when you asked me to get you a flat white about 3 years ago when we used to drive to work together. Like, saying, "Can you get me a flat white?" I was like, "Is that something that they do here? Are you telling me to go to the till and ask for something that isn't there? Like
a long stand,
spirit level bubble, yeah, a tartan paint. Like, are you asking me to go for this kind of thing?" And he was like, "Yep, it's a real thing." And then I seen it on the advert board behind. I was like, "Okay, I'll try a bit of that as well."
So yeah, she thought I was talking about flat white bread for toast. Bless her, because a lot of people went in because it was a Tesco canteen kind of thing, 13 pence or whatever it was for a piece of toast. Nice. So she probably thought, well, she 100% thought I wanted toast. She just flat white. Like, yeah, please. Give it me on a plate. I was like, no.
I was the same, to be fair. Like, I was but definitely a bit thick with that too. I had no idea what the hell you were talking about.
Yeah, but you weren't getting paid to support people.
Yeah, to be fair, yeah. I'm not paid to study the menu and then start charging people for it. Good point.
So yeah, she learned what flat white was that day. Let's go. So yeah, PlayStation Stars might have a hidden only invite tier called Diamond, which is the 5th tier. Nobody knows what it is, but someone's data mined it out of the PlayStation app. So we'll find out soon enough, no doubt. Okay, we have a few extra stories, which we're going to save. Which does make this a PlayStation-focused podcast. Unlucky. We do have a story from a Microsoft side, which we'll move to tomorrow because it could be a bit chunkier. It might not be, but we don't really have the time to go through it now. But it's about Activision's CCO stepping down. So we've spoken about Frances Townsend in the past. I think she was the one that set out like shithouse emails when the company was going through all sorts of fucking difficulty in terms of the staff and so on. And she was basically just shut the fuck up and deal with it. That sort of person, if I remember correctly. She might not be specifically those exact words, might not be, but we'll go through that tomorrow. Plus, Ubisoft working to bring its Stadia players through to PC using Ubisoft Connect. It's not just Ubisoft that's doing that. There's a few others on that, so we'll talk about that tomorrow. And then we'll come back to the one that we spent a little bit earlier on. Either news meets other things. No, it's Legacy of Kain. That's what it is. Crystal Dynamics is asking people what they want for the future of Legacy of Kain. If you do want to get involved in the future of Legacy of Kain, you can join us tomorrow, 10 a.m.-ish from the studio. Myself and Bib will be in the studio tomorrow, bringing you some Scoopy fun times. Let's go, baby! Yeah. For now, though, we're going to wrap things up. We're going to throw a raid onto one of our friends and pass on some love. Don't forget, as Nietzsche did a little bit earlier on, and as Wobbly did yesterday, and as Beans did yesterday, you can sub to the channel. If you do it before 3 p.m. today, you will be included in this month's loot drop. We're going to be giving away a copy of PGA 2K23 and one of our subathon exclusive t-shirts. So not only will we be getting some content guaranteed when it's just freshly out this month. It's not even out yet, the game, but you'll get that confirmed for you today, and a t-shirt that money can't even buy, just by being a sub to the channel. So feel free to get involved in that. Like I said, we're going to pass the raid on to one of our friends, but before that happens,
Yes.
Mr. Bibb, is there anything you'd like to add?
Yes, there is. Thank you very much for joining us for today's episode of The Scoop. We very much appreciate all your comments, follows, subscriptions, and everything else. But if you want to help shape the 4 remaining shows this week, there is 2 ways that you can do so. First of all, find us on social media. It is at Ice Cream Uploads across all major social media platforms, or alternatively, get involved with our Discord if you're watching this on any of our on-demand services. Go into the description below. All the links that you require will be listed there below. But all we need from you is a URL plus your thoughts and impressions. We'll then give you our first impressions on the very next show, which will be live from the ICU studios tomorrow, Mr. Graham Day. But at what time?
At 10 a.m. Ish. We work in the video games industry, so we bring you the news when we can around work. Sometimes it's close to 10, sometimes it's not as close to 10. It's just the way it works. That's the ish. But it's all right. All subs get an emote that allows them to ish their pants in the chat. And on that bombshell, we're going to disappear. Stick around for the raid. We're going to pass on some love to one of our friends. But have yourselves a good day. And stay frosty.